Alright guys, so I'm going to get back onto the Bobcat 310 or the Clark 310 or the Monroe or whatever you want to call it. I kept farting around with this thing and I was having some electrical issues with it. I think she probably found the mouse. But I got it to where it's finally working, I think. And then every time I started to engage the 2-speed or whatever, it was messing up, and then from there it was just messing up. Anyways, long story short, this is a 16 horsepower, and if you don't remember, it was smoking quite a bit last time we started it up, and there's lots of leaks everywhere, and everything looks, well, not too pretty. I mean, like, look at all that stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take off this 16 horsepower, and I have a DuroMax 18 horsepower, and so we're going to just swap that out. So basically what I'm going to do, the intake that comes up here, I'm going to take all of that out. We might reuse it, we might not, I don't know. We got to take out all the linkages and all that stuff. I'm not going to show that, I think, on this video, because I think it might be pretty long. I think what I'm going to do is just do segments. So at this point in time, I'm just going to take the motor out. There's 4 bolts and then a few electrical connections and stuff, and so we'll just take that out and go from there. I hope I can reuse this fuel tank, because it is a bigger fuel tank than what is on the new engine, but if we can't, then we can't, and we'll figure something else out. So alrighty, we may have to relocate this battery, not too sure. So alright, so the next clip should be after this is removed, unless I find something interesting. So I'll get back with you. Alright, so we got the old motor out. It's kind of a pain in the butt. Would have been a whole lot easier, but one of these studs wanted to spin while I was trying to take the nut off. So had to wind up taking the whole plate off, lifted it up higher than I needed to get it out. Pain in the butt, but that's what we got. So I covered the fuel tank up with a piece of plastic, zip tied it down. There's a lot of junk in here. Like I don't know what that is, but looks like a spider web, but it's ooey gooey looking. Look at that. That's crazy. So we're going to pressure wash all this off, just to have a clean slate, clean start. There's not a whole lot of electrical connections. You can see, look how bad that is. It's almost worn all the way through. So that don't need to be addressed. They do have these little pucks, and I'm assuming that's where the plate sat down, and then the plate pinches the gas tank. I think I might take the gas tank out just to clean it. It depends how hard the gas tank is to take out. I don't think it's going to be that hard, but if it is, then I'm not going to mess with it. We'll just do an auxiliary fuel tank somewhere else. But see what we can do about scraping all this junk out, and I'll get back with you. Alright, we got everything all cleaned up as good as it's going to be. Cleaned up pretty good. There's a lot of bare metal. It might look like a sludge or whatever, but it's just bare metal. So yeah, I'm going to let this dry out a little bit. I guess next let me show you what we're going to put in here. Alright, so here's power plant. It's a 440cc 18 horsepower with electric start. We're gonna have to move that. Well, there's still a lot of stuff that we got to do. So we're gonna have to move the gas tank to make it easier to fill up. But here's how clean we got it. It's pretty clean. It's not too bad. I know a lot of people will just use just put on one pulley, and then that is the you don't get the 2-speed out of it, but they find a middle ground and kind of go from there. I want to see if I can keep the 2-speed. If I can't, I can't. It's not the end of the world. It might just be super easy just to use the one pulley, but we'll see what happens. So this is the shaft that comes out of here, and I think it's a 1 inch, and then what goes into here is like a 1.5 inch or 1.125 inch. But they make this collar that's supposed to go, it's basically a sleeve for 1/8 of an inch. So hopefully I can put this on there and still use that. That'd be great. Alright, so got the clutches out, and bad news, here's the bracket that it's supposed to go on, and should be about like that, and none of these holes match up, so I am just going to get a new pulley to put on here. Bypass all the other stuff. We'll just have 1 speed. It'll be a medium speed and hope for the best, I guess. So kind of sucks for this, but it is what it is. Maybe I can sell this, and it's like, I think it works. I might even weld that back. But yeah, that sucks, but that's alright. We'll keep going from there. Alright, I'll get back with you. Alright guys, so don't know how much I'm going to work on this today, but I got the motor just sitting in there. I'll go over some of the new parts and stuff that I have for this. So what I was originally going to do was keep the original gas tank and then fill it up through this hole. I want to see if I can use the original gas tank, because it holds a whole lot more fuel than that tank. And if I can find the numbers, I'll tell you how much this one is and how much this one holds. I think it holds more. But anyways, worst case scenario, it'll make it a cleaner install, and it has less heat sink. So it's air cooled, so there should be more air flow around the engine to kind of keep it cool. Let's see, this far belt on the left, I need to take that off. That's going to be for the basically the second gear, and we're going to eliminate that and just go 1 gear, and I'll show you what we got. The other thing is this is the battery tray, and whenever it closes, it hits that battery, or the battery hits the motor. So I'm just going to have to relocate the battery somewhere else. All it needs is a 200 cold cranking amp battery, which, you know, a little lawnmower battery is plenty big enough, and this was holding a full-size car battery. So that's just another thing that we'll do. Worst case scenario, we'll have the crank on here. So here's the 4.5 inch pulley that we got. It does have 2 of the grub screws with the key in there, keyway. Here's this part number, and I thought it said, maybe not, I don't remember how much it was. I'll probably put that in the description. This here, I'm not going to need this. That was for the old one, so I think I still need to return that if I have time. Now, in order to use the original fuel tank, I needed a fuel pump, which that's what this is. It just bolts in, well, kind of anywhere. There are specific spots that you need to put it, but this is going to be for it's a pulse pump, and where you get the pulse will go into this section here. This comes from the gas tank, which you pointed down like that, and then this one goes to the carburetor. I do have a new fuel filter that we'll be using, even though I think this one is fine. I will be reusing the hose though, because it's pretty new hose and still really flexible. But this goes onto the motor, and then with this little barb, that's where it gets the pulse. So this goes on the intake side, so whenever it's sucking air in, it also makes that pulse in there and sucks the gasoline through this pump into the carburetor. The only thing is, I don't know if this will use the factory carburetor on the outside, but we'll cross that bridge once we get there. Alright, let me get that motor out and we'll go from there. Okay, so here's where we're at with this. Tried to use this adapter. I didn't think it was going to work, but I didn't actually know until I kind of got into it and looked. So this piece is not going to work. The 1/8 inch NPT with the, I think it's a 1/4 inside diameter barb fitting for the fuel line, I think that should work. So took the case off, and I was really debating on bypassing the governor or not, but I also didn't want to poke any more holes into this case. That's where we're at with that. So what I did was, and I already put oil in here, so what I did was I packed this inside with grease, and then I drilled this out, and you can see how it all kind of captured on the end of that. So, and then there's some at the tip of this, so that worked out pretty well. This was a 27 by 64, or I forget what it is. Had to look it up, and I'll probably put it in the little description thing, or pop it up on the screen so you'll see. But anyways, I'm going to finish cleaning that out. And then I'll be able to, well, here's my 1/8 inch NPT tap. I'll put that inside there. That'll give me crankcase pressure. So that should work. Worst case scenario, if this doesn't work, I can just put a cap on the end of this, or use this piece and plug it off completely. As you can see, it doesn't go anywhere. And I'll tell you, I really debated on doing this because I really didn't want to tap into this brand new motor. But it is what it is. Really right now. Alright, so I got the clutch turned on 1, and I'll adjust this as we go. I have this set on speed 1, and I'm just going to go as slow as I can. I need to get more grease. Yeah, it really helps when you push your cord. Sorry. So I finished tapping that out. I didn't go all the way through just because I really only need, what, 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch, something like 1/2 inch, I guess. I really only need to thread in 1/2 inch. So I'm gonna finish cleaning out all that, because we don't want that floating around in the engine. And I'm gonna put the lid back on, torque that down, and I'll get back with you. Alright, so here's how I'm getting it out. I'm just getting grease, packing it from the inside and going out. Alright, so that's going to get most of it, and then I'll figure something out to get the rest out, because we don't want to leave that grease in there either. Obviously Got to have airflow. Anyways, thought that was pretty interesting. Okie doke, this is all temporary for right now. That hose coming off the vent to here. This is going to be coming out of a gas tank, which is I lost the gas. Anyways, gotta find that. And then this is coming off of here, going into the carburetor. So let me find my little gas tank, and I got the battery charger hooked up to, let's see, yeah, that'll work. So yeah, let's do this and see what we can figure out. Alright, so this is the setup. I got gas tank here. Hopefully this can suck out from there and all work. It'll probably take a little bit to suck all that, but we'll see. I had the gas off, so that's why it wasn't. Let that starter rest for a second. Okay, that's kind of the main thing I wanted to see. Just make sure this is working. And it is. So I'm going to try to fold this bad boy down. Why does it always do that, man? I swear. Every time. You get right where it needs to be. Oh, where's my gas tank? Oh, where's my gas tank? Oh, where? I think I put it over here. There's my gas tank.